Fetterman ended up with 49% support compared with 48% support for Mehmet Oz. Again, bad candidate quality is a thing.
You know what's funny? Is that we were broadcasting that. We being the left, like leftists. We were like, when it first started, we're like, holy Dr. Oz? That's like, oof, that guy has a lot of baggage. He's got a long rap sheet. That's a, ooh, yeah. There's a lot of things that can come out. That was before we knew about the drinking, or the puppy torturing, or the stabbing the sister in the skull.
Right, the big winners last night were all the people that were kind of at odds with President Trump. That were at odds with the Trumpification of the Republican Party, who are not the out-of-the-box candidates. Those people did a lot better.
It's Team DeSantis, baby. Team DeSantis. Look at this. Look at this. Look how hard he's leaning into this. Ben Shapiro, why the red wave didn't make it to shore? What Republicans can learn from Ron DeSantis?
However, what this meant is that Republicans got silly. They nominated a bunch of bad candidates in close races, and oddly enough, they nominated a bunch of good candidates in not close races. And so you ended up in the House with this weird dichotomy where in districts that Democrats won by 18, Republicans would make up 15 points of that ground with a really solid candidate and then lose. And then in districts where Democrats were up by 3, Republicans would nominate somebody who was like a big fan of January 6th, and then that person would lose. And so they would nominate bad candidates in close races and good candidates in not close races, and they would lose both of those things. That was the pattern in the House. And then in the Senate, Republicans made the mistake of thinking that because the dynamics for the Democrats were going to be bad, they could nominate anyone. So if you look at the narrative of politics over the past few years, what you will see is that what Americans basically want is stability. They want stasis. That's all they want. And the parties keep taking the wrong message from all of this. In 2012, Democrats took the message that they had an unbeatable coalition and they could be as radical as they wanted to be. And the reaction by the American people was, we'll elect Donald Trump to not give you that sort of power. Donald Trump won, and instead of taking the election, the Republican Party, as a sign that it was time to get back to some semblance of normalcy, instead they said, well, I mean, if we won, this means that we have magic on our side, and we can nominate whoever.
I always forget that Ben Shapiro fucking hated Donald Trump at first, and was definitely one of the reluctant, like, you know, God, all right, the really loudmouth kind of like he, you know, behind closed cameras, like he was talking about him in the worst possible way. It was always like, you know, that fucking sexual degenerate, fucking sinful, you know, fucking satanic piece of shit, you know, kind of stuff. But then when the cameras go back on, it's like, you know, Donald Trump. He's our guy.
We want to, and we'll just continue to win victories. And then Donald Trump did not win in 2020, and now Republicans did not win in 2022. The underlying dynamics of American politics are the same. Gravity applies. Just because some out-of-the-box candidates are capable of defying gravity for a short period of time does not mean that they don't fly too close to the sun. And
okay, so this is important because this is what I was talking about earlier. There's a bigger thing going on in this election than simply you know, a transfer of power between the houses and the Senate, and then, you know, the cyclical nature of all this. Again, historically, it's very, very uncommon for either the House or the Senate to not have a fucking pendulum swing when we are 2 years into the presidency of a new president, who also historically is incredibly unpopular, not polling very, very high. So that has improved, by the way, but initially, especially around the you know, the last I'd say like 6 months ago, Biden was not in the same place that he is now, and even then he's polling well below, like, I think 46% is what he's at right now. Either way, so that's what's supposed to happen, and the fact that right now everything is looking pretty tight. They will edge out probably a win in the House, but only by 1 or 2, possibly 3 seats, and then the Senate could go to the Democrats. The Democrats are the only ones so far officially who have gained 1 seat in the Senate, so, and it's already razor thin. It's like 48 to 48, so there's very little wiggle room, and it's not looking good for Republicans, so Democrats could keep the Senate, and then the governorship did not fucking blow out of the water to the right. That is a very, very strong indication of a lot of things. This is why they're going after MAGA people right now. This is why Ben Shapiro, all the pundits are kind of like, we shouldn't have put all our chips in this shit, because they did. Like, they went full MAGA because they thought this was the way to win elections. We get this kind of bombastic outsider. He's crude, he's crass, and I can say he's crude and crass. That's fine. I can call that out. I'll just say, like, as a Christian, I don't really like listening, or as, like, you know, a proud Jewish person, I don't like listening to his horrible language. But I will say, I will say that his politics align and are good and are solid. It's his action, not his words, you know, kind of shit. And his action and words both became more extreme. It was like a self-fulfilling loop. Trump is human. He gets off on the same shit as every other big politician. They have rallies. They get all this fucking serotonin and dopamine. He starts feeling like the god king and becomes the most powerful man on the planet. So he starts feeding back with that shit. People, saying bombastic shit, saying offensive things, saying things that no one else would say, but like, oof, yeah, that's pretty fucking racist. Oof, yeah, that's super sexist. Oof, yeah, that's really transphobic. Oof, yeah, that's really fucking... And then all of a sudden this becomes a new thing. And then all these other Republicans, even ones who hated him, Carrie Lake said he was fatter than Taft. Even her, she's like, oh yeah, all in. Yeah. No, I'll say the worst shit. It's not even going after Muslims anymore. I'm going to go after trans Muslims. It's not even going after fucking children anymore. They're coming after you and they're going to train your kids to be trans and all this other shit. Like just, Tulsi Gabbard levels. Oh, bad night for Tulsi. Totally forgot about that. Okay. Either way. Yeah, that's where the party was headed. I was worried. I was worried that like Republicans were going to go all in, but now they're trying, a handful of them, to steer the ship. There's the Trumpers and their lifelongers, the Mike Ceranoviches, all these kind of people. But like the Ben Shapiros, we're going to see the Matt Walshes, all of them, they're already way more aligned with DeSantis. Because DeSantis isn't like Trump. DeSantis is a true believer. DeSantis, in his heart of heart, actually does want to legislate trans people off the face of the earth. That's who Ron DeSantis is. That's like, he has shown that. He has demonstrated that. He broadcasts this shit. He is worried about trans ideology, CRT in schools, all the things, but he's actually worried about it. They see through Trump right now. The emperor has no clothes shit, right? It's just like, fucking the billionaire narcissist kind of just seems like he's in it for himself. I don't know if he's actually as electable as possible. All these like Trump endorsed fucking people, we're like blowing them out of the water kind of stuff. DeSantis is the real deal.
And that is what we are watching happen for virtually everybody in all parties. The American people are not up for crazy right now. They're sick of crazy.
Trump is Berlusconi, DeSantis
They're
is
sick
Mussolini.
of volatile. They are sick of feeling uneasy about candidates. They're just not all that interested in that sort of stuff.
Ooh, a lot of molding.
And so if you pick bad candidates, you're going to lose. There are a bunch of examples of this last night in the Senate. So Don Baldock was nominated in New Hampshire with the help of Democrats, by the way, who felt he would be easier to run against. John Favreau over at Pod Save America, he was actually celebrating Democrats having promoted a threat to democracy, right? Because Don Baldock denied the election of 2020, and so he was a quote-unquote threat to democracy, according to the left. They helped nominate him. And then he got killed, right? He got destroyed last night.
By the way, I will say, as a surprise, and an incredibly welcome surprise, I am pretty astounded so far at the level of people willing to go the distance to do a full, like, my election was stolen shit. Like, fair enough, there's some people who, like, if Lauren Boebert wins, if she loses, she could probably still do it. Carrie Lake officially loses, probably still do it, but you haven't seen like a fucking hundreds so far of people come forward and be like, my election was stolen, my election was stolen, oh, my election was stolen, my election was stolen kind of shit.
Against Maggie Hassan in New Hampshire. In that New Hampshire Senate race, the final results in the vote count
days, yeah, fair.
Look really bad. This was not a close race. It was supposed to be within a couple of points. Instead, Maggie Hassan walked away with an 11-point victory in New Hampshire. That is a testament to bad candidate quality in New Hampshire. Okay, the same thing happened in Pennsylvania. John Fetterman won Pennsylvania despite the fact that he is not fully functional. Now, I will say, I think that it may be.
You're still... that was probably the nicest one you had, right? Like, I'm sure in the writer's room, they were going through all the things, and then they were just like, oof. Whew. Yeah, barely functional, I guess. That's, yeah, that one's,
Because John Fetterman was not fully functional, that a lot of the focus turned away from the fact that he is a radical to the fact that he was not fully functional, and that's bad campaigning. Granted, that's possible. It is also possible that what John Fetterman did at the very beginning of the race basically ended the race. Mehmet Oz was a bad candidate. Dave McCormick was a better candidate in that race. Mehmet Oz got Donald Trump's endorsement, and then he won the primary by about 7 votes. And then within the first 5 minutes of the campaign, John Fetterman successfully labeled Mehmet Oz a TV snake oil salesman who was not...
Okay, come on. That was not... uniquely a John Fetterman thing. That was in part due to Dr. Oz being a snake oil salesman. The guy testified before Congress. He doesn't care about people. I don't know how anyone in Pennsylvania was ever sitting back thinking, you know what? That guy, yeah, the one who actually fucking poisons his own viewers and customers for profit. I think he'll care about us. He'll have our interests at heart. He doesn't live here, but he'll care about. He'll drive on down to find out where to get some crudité.
From the state and owned mansions and had no connection with the people of Pennsylvania. And so John Fetterman, with a stroke, defeated Mehmet Oz last night.
Hell yeah, suck it.
Fetterman ended up with 49% support compared with 48% support for Mehmet Oz. Again, bad candidate quality is a thing. Hey, how about in Georgia? It now looks like a runoff in...
You know what's funny? Is that we were broadcasting that. We being the left, like leftists. We were like, when it first started, we're like, holy shit, Dr. Oz? That's like, oof, that guy has a lot of baggage. He's got a long rap sheet. That's a, ooh, yeah. There's a lot of things that can come out. That was before we knew about the piss drinking or the puppy torturing or the stabbing the sister in the skull shit. That was prior to that. But now that we know about all that, I was just like, he just gets worse and worse and worse. What? He's kind of like an incest is super awesome dude? Oh, weird. Okay. Strange.
Georgia is the likely result between Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker was not the best candidate in the primary, but he was endorsed by certain people, and so Herschel Walker became the nominee. And so we had a campaign filled with talk of how many illegitimate children Herschel Walker had. How exactly was that going to be a big win for the Republicans?
Again, this is what we were telling you. I feel it would be really dangerous if the right figured out how to start watching and absorbing actual leftist content or watching leftist videos or shit. I'd be worried about that. I'd be like, oh shit, no, they're gonna figure too much out. They're gonna know way too much.
Or why don't we turn to Arizona? In Arizona, it's still too early to know the results, but right now, both Kari Lake and Blake Masters are trailing in Arizona fairly significantly. Kari Lake was being celebrated as kind of the next go-round of Donald Trump. Blake Masters was making up all the lake ground, and then it just kind of faded. It didn't happen. Why? Maybe because the candidates weren't all that good.
Don't worry, their media literacy is abysmal. Like, okay, Shifty Cat. This speaks directly to that fucking, there's this, I was just speaking about this right-wing Twitter conservative account that's addicted to fetish porn, and that's cat turd. Bind the check mark. Bind that check mark. And then immediately, like, tweeting out, this is going to trigger the libs. Like, lol. And then all the right retweeting that and being like, the fucking Benny Johnson, my God, this is triggering every lib, blah, blah, blah. And being like, okay, I don't think you understand. Like, we're laughing at you. It's like, if a dude is just standing in front of you and pissing himself and the whole room's laughing at him, and he's like, fucking, they're all triggered, eh? Looks like I triggered the fucking left again. They're all laughing and pointing at me right now. And you're just like, no, like, this is the mark of the rube. You have to understand that. Like, ultimately, I want Twitter verification to be free for everybody. It's like I'm not in the camp of being like, oh damn, you got a check mark. Like, no, like the fact that only celebrities or people in news articles or famous people can get them. No, I don't think that's fucking justified. Like even like fucking Pornhub or other like porn sites, they verify easier than that. They don't charge people like $8 a month to get a check mark. Like, just set up a mechanism so anyone can like hold up a piece of paper or a fucking ID or something like that and like verify themselves, verify your account. That's the purpose of verification. It shouldn't be this elitist like I'm the bourgeoisie of Twitter and you're the trolls kind of shit. And that's what Elon sold everyone as. He's like, power to the people. Now everyone gets it. The lords and serfs system is ending. And it's like, well, no, you're just fucking doing capitalism 101. You can buy authentication for $8 a month and then everyone can get it and then they can use it for whatever they want. Kari Lake turned off the Republicans who liked John McCain. Particularly
Masters in the Senate. Perhaps he had a lot of flaws. Perhaps the commercials that he was cutting about how wonderful Donald Trump was, while Mark Kelly was cutting commercials about how he was shaking hands with every Republican mayor he could find. Maybe that was a better candidacy. Bad candidate quality tells.
Salty.
Bad candidate quality matters. And good candidate quality tells too. Nevada, it's still too early to know. That race looks like it may be competitive and it may actually go in favor of Adam Laxalt. in Nevada. He's the strongest of that basket of candidates. We'll get to more on this in just 1 second. First, folks, do you feel like you ever don't get the respect you deserve? Well, there.
Get no respect. I feel like you're appealing to a really like unique audience here. It's like, you know, my wife, she doesn't respect me. My wife, I don't get no respect. What is this? What are you selling?
Referred to
Mountains?
as lairds, or lords and ladies in English. In your title pack, you will be bestowed with at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Edelston.
Wait. Hold up. Is my boy selling fucking timeshare cubes? Is that what my boy is selling right now? Timeshare? Is this Minecraft? You too can own 1 cube for all. The fucking hell.
Scotland, plus an official certificate with a crest. Your certificate features a unique plot number with which you can see the exact location of your land.
This is amazing.
I, for example, am already a lord. I have a plot
It's
number.
not even a cube, it's a 2D square. Do you get to stand on the cubes? If you bought more cubes, like, could you do a Minecraft thing where you actually show up with some tools and shit, and you're like, I'm gonna harvest some emeralds and some minerals here. I gotta build some things, or are they like, oh, you don't, you don't actually earn the land? You know, it's like, what? No. It's symbolic. It's a gesture. You like it's if you own property, you get it's like property simulator. You get to own a fucking fraction.
Land over in Edelston,
That's
Scotland.
amazing.
And here is my certificate to prove it.
Hell yeah.
This is now my pronoun. Titles packs from established titles are a fun and unique gift for any occasion. There are even couples packs that come with adjoining plots of land for that special someone in your life. With
I'm so curious how much this costs. I like little chats. What's the over under on this? Is this like a $59.99 thing, $100 thing, $200 thing? I mean, it's kind of got to find that sweet spot between like justifiably you feel like you bought property in a weird way but you haven't, and like this isn't just a symbolic gesture for us to make money and you get literally nothing. Like, you buy nothing. Oh, sorry, you get a framed picture to make you imagine that nothing is good, and then on the other end I get your cash. I think it's $50. Gotta be $60 or 300. 60 between 60 and 300 feels right. It's land NFTs.
your certificate, you could officially add the prefix of Lord or Lady to your credit cards, plane tickets, even your dating profiles. Plus, established titles commits to preserving the woodlands not only in Scotland
Even
but around
your
the
dating profile. hey, baby. Hey, no, yeah. If you want to be with a real alpha who's got a ton of fucking liquid cash, look at this. I bought an imaginary plot of land. Yeah, 2x2 square. I don't actually physically own it, but I own the title to thinking that I own it. I get to imagine that I own it for only $60. That's why I put it on my dating profile. Could you imagine?
planet. They have partnerships with global
See, that joke wouldn't work for Grindr. I think gay dudes would be like so quick to fucking jump on this one. They'd be like, nah. That's a swipe left, all right? I'm sorry. I'm not, yeah, no, you're a clown. You're a joke of a man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
charities like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to help with our afforestation efforts, and for every order they receive, a tree is planted. And get this,
Well,
established
good.
titles told me the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my exclusive link receive a plot within a few walking minutes of my own over in Shapiro stand. So,
This is IRL Minecraft. Like, no question. At this point, he's like, you can own a plot of land next to my plot of land. So you can build a castle out of the cubes next to my castle out of the cubes. We can share servers, dog. All you gotta do is sign up for this. And you know what's so sad? On top of everything else, people are gonna do this. Like, there's so many Shapiro fans who are like soy facing out right now. Oh, I can own the imaginary plot of land beside daddy. Oh yeah, nice. And then afterwards, obviously add that to your Tinder profile, you know? Hey ladies, not only do I own an imaginary piece of land, I own an imaginary piece of land next to Ben Shapiro's. It's pretty close. It's about 462 cubes away from Ben, but it's within it, like, you can see it. You can see his plot of land. If you were to stand on my plot and like within good conditions, obviously if the sunlight hit at the proper time, all that kind of stuff, but hear me out. This relationship's gonna work. You're gonna love this. I'm all about the cubes.
Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or lady, we can build our own kingdom. And from there, we only spread our tentacles outward. Established Titles is actually running a massive sale right now. Plus, if you use code BEN, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/Ben. Get your gifts right now. Help support.
Okay, I gotta see this. Establishedtitles.com/Ben. So, oh wow. So I logged on, and I think it's just like it's a good day because like this clock started counting. So it was like 60 minutes, but like other people wouldn't have known about this offer. Like, imagine someone came an hour from now and missed out on this. Like, imagine someone just jumped into the middle of this and it was like, oh shit. And there was like 1 minute left, but not me. I get a lot of time. See, I get the 59 minutes and 34 seconds. It did not start. Like, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. Fucking yes. So I can become a lord as a serf, as you all know. I'm Lance of the Serfs. So I am a serf. So it would be nice to be a lord for a price. Save the Scottish woodlands. Become a lord today. Lordship and ladyship title packs. Purchase a personal lordship or ladyship title pack with a dedicated land in Scotland. Our title packs are based on the historic Scottish land ownership custom, where landowners have been long referred to as lairds, the Scottish term for lord, with the female equivalent being lady. Oh, you could buy it for your loved ones too. That's like, you know, if your relationship is broken, my dudes, the only thing that can save it, let me tell you, all right, is buying an imaginary plot of land. Just so they can have a certificate that makes their fucking room look hideous and embarrasses them every time their friends come by. Because it's like, anytime you have friends or family, it's like, oh, what's that? Did you apply for a new form of certification? No, I get to pretend that I own something for nothing. Yeah, I get nothing in return outside of imagining. It's you know, it's make-believe, but for an adult. Like, have you heard of Minecraft? The kids play it. It's like that, but not free, expensive, and also not real or fun. So, yeah, thank you. The lordship pack, the ladyship pack, the couple title pack. Ooh, yeah, this is sexy. Fuck yeah. You know, I could have bought you a new vibrator. I know you want, baby, but I got something a little bit more stimulating. Established titles are committed to planting over one tree. See, this is the only nice part. I'm not against the one tree planting. That's good. Surprised my husband whilst out for the first time since COVID-19 deconfinement in order to real human wrote this. Definitely, yes, yeah, definitely sounds like the testimony of a real person or human being. Celebrate our 11th wedding anniversary. Sorry. With a lordship. Decided to treat myself to a ladyship at the same time. After all, I couldn't have him lording over me. Anyways, I'm the true lady of the house. Ha! 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 Superb. Or superb. And then next. Another real testimony written by a real human being. Since the purchase of the 2 lots for my wife and myself, I've noticed a difference in the service and level of etiquette shown toward us. After a few laughs from family about me being a lord, it is a great novelty and one that does come with some rewards. So glad I purchased these plots, and happy to call myself, my lady. Oh, yes, my lady. This product and website has probably been the cause of so many divorces. Can you imagine relationships that were just like on the brink? They're fucking going to couples therapy, all this shit, and then like dude comes home one day and he's like, I've got a gesture. I've hear me out. I bought you something. And it's like, on the spot, like, homie, you're getting roasted on the spot. It's like fucking the ring's coming off and she's throwing it at you. She's gonna throw the ring so hard at that frame, you are going to shatter it. Like, it's just gonna fucking, you know, when you see like fucking the greatest fucking NBA dunks and the whole thing just fucking shatters NBA Jam style. That's what's gonna go down, like, instantaneously. Like, you won't even be able to explain yourself. You can't even explain how you got fucking grifted. You'd have to sit there with a shattered glass. Like, you wouldn't get the moment to be like, hear me out. Here, dude, like, you own imaginary land. The cubes. I got you the cube. We have a cube. Well, it's not even technically a cube. It's more of a flat surface, and I still don't own that. My husband loved his gift. Since I gave it to him, he will pull his lord status to get out of any chore I ask him to do. Lol, it has become such a fun part of our family. I will yell, Jeremy, can you take out the trash? And he'll reply, lords don't take out trash, Amber. This has given our family a lot of happiness, and our girls will have so many memories of their father being Lord of the House. I smell a sitcom. Oh, is this a private account? Look at this, Lord Management Consulting, Tufts University, less than a mile away. Hey, ladies, you gonna be swiping fucking right on someone who starts the name of account with Lord? Yes, Lord Mike. Yeah, my name's Mike. That's my legal name, so Lord Mike. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe next year if I'm feeling really fucking, I don't know, frisky, I'll add Dr. Mike. Can you imagine Dr. Mike? Hell yeah. Framed on my office wall, I, with my Scottish heritage, am proud to display my certificate on the wall of my office. This shit is fucking racist. Fucking racist, man. Can't be on this racist ass website anymore. Ben, where have you led me?
J.D. Vance won precisely the same percentage as Donald Trump, 53.3%. This is an off-year election. Republicans are supposed to outperform.
You were.
This is the election where Republicans are supposed to do better than average. And then take a look at the candidates who are the less Trumpy candidates. In Nevada, Donald Trump won 47.7% of the vote. Right now, Adam Laxalt has about 49.8% of the vote. That is an outperformance. In Florida, Marco Rubio, swing state, Donald Trump won 51.7% of the vote. Marco Rubio won 57.7% of the vote. That's a serious gain. Candidate quality matters. You can't defy the gravity of bad candidates.
So, the right has an objective. That objective is to get power. Part of getting that power is obviously getting the most powerful candidates to perform well in these elections. And they're turning on Trump. They're turning on Trump real fast. So Trump has, I've said this for a while, by the way, so much baggage. Like so much baggage, just as a candidate, as a personality, legally, like it's pretty overwhelming. Like I assume a handful of these grifters behind the scenes, when like, you know, again, they're not on camera anymore, will be like, holy shit, he actually took those things. Like it's just like he appointed the FBI director. Trump appointed the man who fucking did that. So, like, this is not a person who in any way, shape, or form is out to get him specifically because it's a political coup for the libs. That's in no realm of reality. So, like, you know, Ben is astute. For many things, yes, you can make fun of him for a ton of shit, but, like, when he's not on camera, it's like, holy shit. Like, he not only took those documents, he was given ample opportunity to return the documents. They asked him nicely. He was like, no. And then they subpoenaed him, and he was still like, no, I'm the president. You can't do anything to me. Because he thinks he's on, like, Trump thinks he's in invincibility mode. He thinks he's playing the game, and he's fucking typed in that code, and he's fucking nothing can touch me. And so then it got to the point where it's like, okay, like, us upsetting the social order of, you know, doing a raid on a president, as that is less important right now. I say this as a fucking Heritage Foundation Republican, than getting those documents back. If those documents get into the wrong hands, it could be catastrophic for this country. So I know it's going to, like, if I weigh the pros and cons, if I look at one option, which is, I'm going to be really, really scrutinized for this, and it's going to look bad because we're raiding the president's home, versus these documents have to get back into the hands of the government of the United States. I have to pick this one. I know this is a gift to Democrats and this is a gift to liberals. I know that, and I understand that, but at the same time, this is more important, and that's the choice I'm going with. So that's astonishing. And obviously, the Ben Shapiros, all these motherfuckers, they know. So that's why they've been waiting, I think, for an opportunity to just be like, they don't want to throw Trump under the bus. They want to fucking kick him into the bus. That's it, you know, in Roblox. But that's basically it. It's like any fucking moment we can do this. Here we go. Let's jump on this. Too much baggage.
And it is worth noting this going forward. Now, this is particularly obvious when it comes to the governors. As I say, if the Republican Party is looking for a model of governance going forward, if they're looking, how do we win races? Baseline levels of competence, and then engage in the culture war issues. Not the other way around. And also, don't alienate everybody on Earth with claims that the vast majority of Americans do not actually believe. You cannot make election 2020 the subject of your campaign in any major way in the United States and hope that things are going to turn out amazing.
Oh, Ben's wrong there. A lot of election deniers got elected. This one's wrong.
Unless your district is like a deep red district. That is one of the messages of this thing. And you can tell, by the way, that there were governors last night who didn't do that and who walked away absolutely clean, who did great last night. Right? The big winners last night were all the people that were kind of at odds with President Trump, that were at odds with the Trumpification of the Republican Party, who are not the out-of-the-box candidates. Those people did a lot better.
It's Team DeSantis, baby. Team DeSantis. Look at this. Look at this. Look how hard he's leaning into this. Fucking Daily Wire. Probably, yeah, objectively, mathematically, by the top 10, Facebook's fucking champion. Daily Wire dominates Facebook. Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, that whole, like, this is Facebook. So this is what Facebook is hearing right now. Facebook and all the boomers, all the right-wing boomers who are trying to be activated through what fucking propaganda Ben Shapiro puts out there, let's just be real about what this is, are now getting the Ron DeSantis message. I know that you've all settled into Trump, but hey, we're Team DeSantis. Let's fucking start to direct the course.
Last night, than the generalized Republican Party. And the Democrats who are running against the most perceived Trumpish candidates are the ones who actually ended up doing really well last night. Those Democrats ended up doing really well. What does that say? It says that the very first rule of politics, I say it all the time, if you wish to win.
The right wing is dependent on culture wars. The only thing they can win through is pandering to bigotry. They've got nothing else. The thing is that, like, I was astounded to find out that wasn't working as well this time. Because, like, they went hard. They leaned so hard. Like, did you see the fucking pamphlets that were being given out, mailed to Americans, that were like straight up, hey, by the way, did you know that like the Democrats hate white people? Did you know the Democrats fucking want white people not to have jobs or homes? Like all that kind of stuff. And like, whoa, what is going on here? This is fucking, oh, we got the Southern Belt style shit going on all over again. And then it didn't work as well. The whole like fucking trans ideology is coming for you. Trans ideology. They're mutilating millions of children, all this kind of shit also did not work as well. The whole like we want to protect the sanctity of life, we need to make sure that people are forced to give birth against their wills, that's what we want, did not work. You know, that's I think this election, even if the House goes Republican, which it probably will, it was supposed to, but it's only going to go Republican by a few seats, which is just like, this is the part of this where I was like, I didn't have that in play. I was not even thinking about that. As a leftist who, like, you know, is so happy about the amount of progressive victories that happened last night, the fact the squad just increased, the fact that Bernie Sanders candidates just increased, the fact that now the Democrats might actually hold the Senate. The only person who's officially made a gain so far are the Dems. The Republicans have lost a seat. That's, as of now, when it's razor thin and we're getting to the very end, that's where we're at. So to see all that, I'm like, this is bigger than like just this one election now. This seems to be like the fact that the youth vote is energized, women are energized, like they're fucking coming together. And yes, the alliance of, and this has to be a part of the whole thing, white people, based ass allies kind of things, cis people or whatever, who are coming along being like, we're fucking do not want fascism. Like, between the two choices, we got, you know, march towards socialism, march towards fascism. I'm going to choose the other one. I'm not going to do the fascism. Fuck it.
Soon May the Fetterman Come needs to be his re-election song.
Soon May the Fetterman. That's good. I don't know if you saw that. By the way, thank you so much, Balthazar, for the $10. If you saw that ad, there was like an ad where it's like, I think it was the nightmare mode of making John Fetterman look based. It's like, you know, soon may the Fetterman, he's like fucking wearing a communist shirt. He's like fucking, he's destroying all nations and empires and other things. He's like this kind of supernatural being. It's one of those things where, I'll find it.
Make it very hard to vote for your opponent. Make it very easy to vote for you. The Republicans spent a lot of time this election cycle making it hard to vote for their opponent. And then they proceeded to nominate a bevy of candidates who made it very hard to vote for the Republican. And that has some downstream effects. Now, when you look to
prisoners free while borders overflow. Soon may the Fetterman come to bring us radical socialism.
Hell
One
yeah.
day when the nation is done, we'll wish we'd told him no. Soon may the Fetterman come to bring us radical socialism. One day when the nation is done, we'll wish we'd go, you know. And prisoners free while borders overflow.
Okay, obviously this part, terrible. Trust me, I'm very, very against people overdosing. I've experienced it in my friends and family, don't worry. But everything else, from the fucking communist t-shirt to the fucking, you know, ending nation states, ending empires. Like, goddamn. Who was the team?
Soon may the Fetterman come to bring us radical socialism.
Like, this one graphic? I'm just gonna give, this is an olive branch to the right, okay? I'm guessing next time they will choose another strategy.
The gubernatorial races, what you can see is that when you make it easy to vote for your own candidate, then your
That's my Twitter banner.
candidates do really, really well. So let's take a couple of examples in terms of how this broke out. So in the Ohio vote, if you recall, early on in this particular race in Ohio, Mike DeWine was running against Nan Whaley in the Democratic.
My dog's having a dream. I'm assuming maybe a nightmare. He's doing he's doing this little thing right now where he's jiggling. I don't know if you can see it in the corner there. Maybe he'll stop. It's wild because like animals have dreams too, and so when they dream, all of a sudden you'll just see them like doing little things and like acting out like they do in real life. Also super cute.
Party. This was supposed to be a possible toss-up race. Ohio was supposed to be
Phil Sharpener.
Let's say, hypothetically, that everyone calls you a genius and virtuoso despite you being wrong about nearly everything and being mediocre at violin while also losing your family's genetic lottery to your sister and cousin Mara Wilson.
The end of that. Oh man, did not expect Abby Shapiro to make an appearance in this episode.
Quasi purple.
Let's
Mike
say
DeWine
hypothetically,
won
for the
that
sake of
race
argument,
by over 1 million votes. By 25%, he won that.
she in terms of like people who are like problematic crushes is one of the worst because it's like you can see Ben Shapiro everywhere. It's like even if you were like, oh, this is the greatest day of my life, I'm hooking up with Abby Shapiro or something. It's like, oh, but I do recognize the Ben. I see you, Ben. This is, oh no.
Right.
I'm so
Now,
confused.
nobody had Ohio on their sort of calendar, mainly because DeWine started pulling away early. And remember, DeWine was very much at odds with Donald Trump. But that fell away early because it turns out the people of Ohio trust Mike DeWine with governance for good or ill. The best example of this is Brian Kemp in Georgia. Donald Trump actively opposed Brian Kemp's nomination in Georgia. He suggested that Brian Kemp was a terrible candidate. In fact, in the middle of the election cycle, he suggested maybe it would be better for America if Stacey Abrams won. Brian Kemp clocked the living crap out of Stacey Abrams last night. Brian Kemp did great. He did great because it turns out that he knows how to govern. And the people of Georgia trust him.
No.
And because the people of Georgia trust Brian Kemp, that means...
Okay, so he's firmly into the camp of basically Trump is got to go. Trump's out.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropofojak, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.